What's up, y'all? Devon here again for obligatory, bringing you the music news of this week, May 19, 2023. And we have a lot to get to. Some of it's pretty awesome. Some of it is pretty whack, but we'll get to it all. And we'll start with some of the best news here in Is It NxWorries season officially? I think it is. I think that's what Anderson .Paak and Knowledge are signaling, along with Stone's Throw Records, in that they have a new single and they've announced a summer tour. As for the single, I mean, it is incredible, of course. I am a big fan of a lot of what they do. This track is so much of what is great about them, but they have this quality that seems like with every passing track, year after year, they get better. They improve on this formula that was seemingly perfect to begin with. And as new music comes out for them and a potential album announcement comes, I will be letting you know when that is taking place. But they are going on tour, and they're starting in New York City as a part of some concerts that New York City does in the park across the summer. This particular one will see them headlining with Lala Hathaway, Bilal, Robert Glasper, and BJ the Chicago Kid. They're also going to be doing the Blue Note Jazz Festival, which does 2 dates one in New York and one in LA. They'll be doing this alongside Grace Jones and Buddy Guy and others. And then the rest of their dates are going to be international. So if you want to see them in the States, it's going to be New York, LA, at one of these shows. So again, it just kind of feels like they're potentially gearing up for something awesome, something that I'll keep you posted on if it comes down the pike. I am more than ready. But to go from one great group to another, I wanted to circle around to Billy Woods and Kenny Siegel's Maps, which seems to be like a critical smash internet hit right now. Y'all might have seen that they recently got the 8.9 out of 10 from Pitchfork. I think a lot of people don't give a shit what Pitchfork thinks, but when they give a score that high, they're a bit few and far between, and it's definitely an eyebrow raiser for me. I got the decent 8 from Fantano and the Needle Drop, and it seems like every review I could find of this was mostly overwhelmingly positive. Backwood Studios posted an infographic with different charting statistics that they had for this album on Billboard. What score will it get from the community and the staff at Obligatory? That remains to be seen. Our review is coming up here soon. But yeah, this has just been all over the internet with praise, and I don't think it could be happening to a better rapper, a better duo. The single Soft Landing has over 100,000 views on YouTube, and I just, again, am blown away. Really excellent exposure and excitement around a spoken word type rapper in a deep art rap underground movement. So that was some of the most exciting news. We have more. We'll get back to it, but I do have to bring up some bummer news, some shitty news, and we'll start with this DJ drama and Kid Cudi album project, Gangsta Grillz mixtape. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it has leaked. What people have found is an 18-track album with varying degrees of audio quality. Features from Travis Scott to Young Thug to Lil Yachty to A$AP Rocky as well. So the good news is that it exists, and the bad news is that it's leaked. I mean, I don't even think people knew that this was an album in the making. They still are supposed to release a single, I think, in the near future. So of course, this has to be really disappointing for Kid Cudi. And it's not the first time that he's had run-ins and issues with leakers. I mean, in 2013, he had to move up the release date of Indicud because it was leaked like a month early. And even more recently, in 2022, Intergalactic saw a leak entirely with fart sounds all over it, weirdly, with fans accusing Mike Dean of being responsible for that. I don't know, that's a whole different story. But yeah, this has been an issue. I don't know who has it out for Kid Cudi, but I'm sorry, Cudi. Let's get a grip on the leaks. Okay, next up in absolutely awful, shitty news surrounding UK rapper Slowthai. He has been charged with rape. And this is not an allegation, an accusation. This is him being detained, and he will have to appear before the Crown. This is obviously a difficult thing to talk about. It's a difficult thing to hear. I'm sure it's even more difficult to experience. And I think this is a necessary opportunity to talk, given that out of the 10 people that may watch this, 9 of you are men. We all need to lower our expectations of people whose art we consume, people who we only know through the art we consume or the public appearances in which we see them. Because an inability to be reasonable and guard yourself against that opens you up to essentially championing rape culture, alienating people who come forward with these accusations and the process of getting to the truth of these accusations. I believe victims in the sense that I believe that assault and abuse is happening way more prevalently and less people are being held accountable for it than there is this issue of people lying about being abused. I understand that enough people lie about these sorts of things that where we can't just jump to conclusions. And I want to reiterate the notion that there is very little information out about this other than the fact that he's been detained. So from a fan's perspective, I just want to remind us all that there is actually power in essentially recusing yourself from really having an opinion, because your opinion is not really that relevant. And again, I think there's genuine power in not only being able to say that you don't know about something, but that you don't know the first thing about something. One more sad story, I mean, depending on how you look at it, it's cool in a way as well. Ryuichi Sakamoto has compiled a playlist to be played at his funeral. And you can listen to it on Spotify or YouTube. Ryuichi Sakamoto is a composer, a producer. He worked on film scores. He worked on video games, anime. I mean, his domain was really wide and he was very vital in several genres and subgenres of electronic music. Now, he recently passed away in March at the age of 71. He left behind just a really massive legacy. And it's recently been coming out in stories that he has this funeral playlist made up of his favorite music. It's either people that inspired him or even people he worked alongside. It is 2.5 hours long. A lot of it is ambient, and it's a beautiful ode to a life that was synonymous with music. And it begs the question for me, and I wonder for y'all, what would you have playing at your funeral? What kind of playlist would you put together for the day you die? Another question we can ask is, what is the greatest Like a Version of all time? Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about Triple J's Like a Version series you see on YouTube of famous artists covering other famous artists' songs. They are an Australian radio station. They are famed for this series. My personal favorites were when Denzel Curry did Bulls on Parade by Rage Against the Machine, or when Little Sims did Gorillaz' Feel Good Inc., Childish Gambino's So Into You by Tamia, that's a classic, and The Wiggles doing Tame Impala's Elephant. Now, some of the most absolutely popular ones, and there are a lot of these, but the top 3 was that Childish Gambino one, the Tamia So Into You song. That has 41 million views. Arctic Monkeys' cover of Tame Impala's Feels Like We Only Go Backwards has 16 million views over the last 9 years. And Billie Eilish's cover of Michael Jackson's Bad has 15 million views to date over the past 5. Well, if you have any real opinion about which one of these was the best or which ones are your favorite, they're opening up a survey opening May 23rd. Fans vote on which of these Like a Version covers are the absolute best of the best. They will make a list based on that information. And again, that's happening on May 23rd, and I'm really interested to see which ones really get voted to the top. Next up, I want to talk about some upcoming festivals and asking you this very important question. Tell me your personality by telling me which one of these recently announced festival lineups you would most like to want to go see. Is it the Portola Festival in San Francisco in late September, early October? They have Jai Paul, Thundercat, Jockstrap, Rina Sawayama, Kenny Beats, Little Sims, and Flying Lotus. A lot of interesting, really dynamic, genre-bending acts, a lot of electronic, pop, and indie music. Really cool blend there. But we also got Riot Fest coming up in Chicago a couple weeks before then. They are hosting Foo Fighters, Turnstile, Postal Service, Death Cab for Cudi, Queens of the Stone Age, The Cure, 100 Gex, Death Grips, Viagra Boys, George Clinton and P-Funk, Insane Clown Posse, and Godspeed You Black Emperor. I really want to go to that one personally, but maybe Rifflandia is more your flavor. That's happening between 2 different weekends in September. They have Iggy Pop, Diplo, Chris Lake, Run the Jewels, Herbie Hancock, and Paris Hilton. I don't know what that's going to be. Salt and Peppa, Stephen Marley, Mark Rebellet, Mavis Staples, Chet Faker, Chromeo, and US Girls. Also, really quickly, I wanted to talk about a couple music videos that I thought were particularly dope. The first is a duo, Paris, Texas. They got a new song out called Bullet Man, and the song is really good, but the video is even better. They have kind of a film influence to what they do, and it shows in this music video really well. It seems like they're coming out with an album soon with a Mars theme. If you go to wewantmars.com, it will redirect you to their website.
Time is fleeting, and the time that we have left on this planet is soon coming to an end.
And on their website is Mac DeMarco all over it, like telling you about Mars. They have like a teaser promo thing on YouTube as well that has Mac DeMarco telling you about Mars. And you can even fill out a survey about going to Mars. So don't know exactly what we're leading up to here, but they have something cool coming up, and definitely check out all of that. The other video I wanted to mention is from Genesis Owusu. He's got a new song, Leaving the Light, and he's back after people really liked his debut album, Smiling with No Teeth. And he's back with the album announcement that he's going to be dropping Struggler, the album, August 18th. So that's a bit ways out, but we'll give you updates as we get new singles or music videos or more information about the album itself. And one more thing before we wrap up here, some album announcements. We knew leading up to this week that Kaytramine by Amine and Kaytranada was coming out, and we have some more coming up. Next week, Arlo Parks is dropping My Soft Machine. I've been looking forward to that. The week after, McKinley Dixon and Nowhere are dropping albums. McKinley Dixon, Beloved Paradise Jazz on the 2nd, and Nowhere Forever on the 2nd as well. Janelle Monáe and King Cruel are following the next week. Age of Pleasure and Space Heavy, respectively. Killer Mike the following week, as well as King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard and Queens of the Stone Age albums on the 16th. The following week, we have the Swans album, The Beggar, on the 23rd. The week after that is Grian Chatton of Fontaines DC. He's dropping his debut solo album, Chaos for the Fly. Post Malone just dropped a new single and announced his album, Austin, coming July 28th. Like we mentioned with Genesis Owusu, Struggler, August 18th. And on that same day, Hozier has just announced that Unreal Unearth is coming as well. So that is it for all the news updates, music news, and upcoming albums from Obligatory. And this is the news show, but we also have a new releases show that drops each week where we break down all the new music that comes out. And that is either out or out very soon after you're seeing this video. So thanks again for watching, and we will see you again next week.